Welcome to the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast, where being a badass has less to do with what you wear and what music you listen to, and everything to do with whether you've got the thriving online business of your dreams. I'm your renegade thinking Harvard Law grad turned online entrepreneur host, Bobby Klink. In my years building my thriving business, the most important lesson I've learned is that being a badass online marketer isn't about secret strategies or ninja tactics. It's about doing the basic stuff right and showing the F up. So each week here on the show, you'll get clear, easy to execute guidance on how to build your online business and a swift kick in the ass or two to make sure you're getting it done. Hey there, welcome to today's Friday Live edition of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Klink, and I'm excited for today's show because we're going to be talking about something that I think not enough people are talking about, but they need to be talking about. And it's one of the things that if you do in your business, it's going to make business a lot easier, a lot more fun, and a lot less stressful. Specifically today, I'm going to be talking about the importance of having core values for your business and then having people who will remind you of those core values. Because when you have core values, things are pretty easy. And we're going to talk about why that is. And I'm going to relate to you kind of something that happened to me this week. And where having core values and having my team members bought into those core values and pointing them out to me was important and really helped me make the right decision for my business and lifted a ton of weight off of my shoulders. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Before I dive in, though, I did want to mention one thing. Now, if you listen to this and you're saying core values, okay, well, maybe that's interesting. And you're maybe wondering, are there other kind of commitments and core things you need to be doing in your business as an online entrepreneur? The answer is yes, there are other things you need to be doing. There's a number of core commitments you need to make. There's a number of core things you need to be doing in your business on a regular basis. And we're going to be diving into that, really going deep on those commitments and other things, how to set up a business the right way and how to get you to the point of having the business of your dreams. It's actually happening at my live event. It's a virtual live event we're going to be running later this year called Badass Online Marketing Live, or BOM Live as we call it. Now, the doors aren't open yet. You can't get your tickets, but we do have a wait list ready for it. So if you're hearing this and you're thinking, yeah, I'd like to hear more about the things I need to commit to, the ways that I can go about building the business of my dreams and those things, I think you ought to sign up for the wait list for BOM Live. Get on it. You'll hear about BOM Live as soon as it's available, and you'll be able to kind of, get that stuff and get those insights. The event is going to be jam-packed. It's like a 3-day event. We're going to go deep into all of this stuff. It is not a summit. It's not like, a webinar. It's like going deep, going through kind of how to make you into the marketer you want to be, how to build the business that you want, and then how to ultimately scale it over the long term. Those are the things we're covering in a nutshell, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So head over to bobbyklink.com/BOM Live, and that's BOM Live. No B at the end. So bobbyklink.com/BOM Live. You can get on the wait list, and you'll hear about it when tickets are available. So now with that, I want to talk about core values. And I've talked about this before, but if you don't know what a core value kind of is or the role it plays in your business, think of it as kind of setting the core things that you believe and you want your business to be. And these are not necessarily front-facing. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're front-facing things that people from the outside see. But just as importantly, for me, are the core values for you internally, for your business, for your team, for the way you run your business. Having those core values, the reason why they fit in and the reason why they're important is that there are a lot of things that we have to think about, we have to decide, we have to be kind of doing on a daily basis in our business. And if we have to make each decision on its own and think through it and really kind of analyze and break down every potential thing, it can get overwhelming. It can get hard. And you can kind of get lost in the minutia. When you have core values, they won't make all the decisions for you, but they will kind of point things forward for you. They will help you decide what you need to be doing, and maybe just as importantly, what you need to not be doing. And it kind of makes things way simpler. Now, to give you some ideas of these things, some of my core values are very front-facing, and you know them. Things like radical giving. Things like more cowbell about kind of bringing yourself into your business. But some of them are also the things that are just as much internal. Like, for example, we have its internal and external. Business should be fun. And on the external, I'm telling you that because I believe it's an important part for you to know about my brand. But on the internal side, my team and I also believe that. And you might be saying, well, Bobby, you're crazy because some parts of business aren't fun. And I agree. I'm not saying that necessarily doing the accounting stuff is fun. That's not my point. But the point of this, and this is kind of where it comes into like being and where I'm going to talk about what happens. Like earlier this year, Katie and I, my integrator, Katie and I, were talking, and we kind of like came back to this business should be fun because it's one of our core values. When, we put out a job post, we said that's one of our core values, and it is. We communicate in gifts internally in my team. We do things that are fun because we want to enjoy our jobs. And that's like one of the things that we believe into our core. We want business to be fun on the internal and external level. So earlier this year, we Katie and I were having this discussion, and I don't even remember the context of how it came up, but it was in the middle of a promotion of some sort. And we both kind of had this thing. And again, this was where it was helpful to have Katie because she almost was the one saying it to me. She was saying, look, if a promotion isn't fun, if a promotion feels draining, if it's like that, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be finding things that we enjoy promoting. When we're thinking about what we're doing and a kind of promo calendar for our business and all of those things and structuring things, we should be making it fun. And I said, yes, we should. And it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Because that's one of our core values. And so that happened a few months ago. Well, this week, I was struggling with a promotion that we were trying to work on, and it was dragging me down. It was draining me. I was suffering, and like I was, struggling to make a decision. And, on what to do, and kind of how to do this and all of these things. And this is where having that core value and then having someone to kind of call you on it is important. So if you've got a team, great, get your team bought into your core values. If you don't have a team yet, you should have confidants. You should have friends who are like an important part of your business or an important part of your world who will bounce ideas and know the things you stand for and will call you on it. Because Katie, like literally yesterday, she saw me, we got on a Zoom call and she said, that's it. You're not having fun. We're not doing this. And it was like, boom. And it was just like having that as a core value that she knew she didn't have to sell me on like why or thinking. She could just basically say, you're not having fun. This is not fun for you. We've already talked about we're not going to do things that bring us down that aren't fun. Having that check was huge. And so this is why I want to stress to you that like maybe, business should be fun isn't one of your core values. I'm not pushing my core values on you. I'm simply saying that it becomes easy to make decisions when you have those core values. Because when a tough or seemingly tough thing comes up, you can say, well, what are my core values? And if you come back to those, it just says, boom, I know what to do. And like that's one example, and it was on my heart and on my mind today because it's been happening, this week. But I can also tell you that at the same time, we had another core, like another place where we had to make a decision recently. For my friend Amy Porterfield, she is relaunching her program, Digital Course Academy. And, I had talked to her last year about, doing some things, about providing some training and even maybe providing a template that she could include in there. And, so we were just discussing that internally. And I didn't have to think hard about whether to say yes now that it was kind of coming back up, because one of my core values is radical giving. And I know that the more I give, the better I feel, the happier I am, but also, as it's turned out, the better my business does. Now, I don't do it as a tactic. I don't do it as a reason for that, but it's one of my core values. So again, it was not a hard decision of, do I do this? Do I give this thing that provides value to Amy and her community? Easy. Yes, I do. Because I'm a radical giver. So these are kind of a couple of examples of where in the last couple of months, and one of them was about a month ago, and then one of them was this week, having my core values, knowing what they are, and then at the same time having someone to call me on it, because that second piece is just as important. Because the reality is, even though, I have core values, it can be easy to forget them, and not forget them like in the sense that I don't know what they are, but to lose sight of them momentarily, to not necessarily be thinking about them in the moment, in the throes of a decision. And having that person or people who are in your corner, who know what your core values are, and who are willing to say to you, hey, how does that line up with this or that value that you express? How does that work in that? And that's the kind of thing that having that person, and it could be a team member, it could be like a business bestie, it could be like if you're in a coaching program or a mastermind, whatever it is, having those people who know those things about you, about what you believe, is important. And so the point of today's episode, and what I wanted to give you as kind of a call to action today, is that I want you to commit to certain core values. Now, I can't pick those for you. You've got to pick those for yourself. You've got to decide, what do you believe? What are your core fundamental beliefs about what business should be and how you should run your business? It could be that giving is one. It could be that it's not. It could be for you that one of your core values is money driven. Whatever it is for you, you need to pick your core values and commit to them. Once you do that, things are going to get easier. And part of that the process of committing to them is part of it's internal, but part of it is telling other people. Because if you're not willing to tell other people, it's kind of like, well, I'm committed, but I'm not really committed. Commitment comes when you're willing to share, when you're willing to express it, when you're willing to tell the world these things. That's why everybody in the world knows about my radical giving. Everybody in the world knows about my business should be fun. Everybody in the world, and not everyone, but plenty of people in the world know about my more cowbell. Plenty of my people know all these things that I believe to be true about business. And so they're willing to call me out if I stray. So, pick your core values, commit to them, and share them with the people who matter to you. If you do that, it's going to get much easier to build the badass online business of your dreams. That's it for this episode. I'll see you again next week. That's it for this episode of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. Make sure to tune in next time. And in the meantime, go out and build the badass business of your dreams.